All right, here we go. Tony Yayo.
VladTV.
Welcome back to VladTV.
Yes,
it's been about a decade since you were last on here.
The biggest interview on VladTV. We here, man. The unit is finally in the building, man.
Finally. It's a long time coming, man. And you and I go back.
Yeah.
We go back to like 2005 when I was doing DVDs. Actually, before VladTV.
Before VladTV. You know I love you, bro. I just was a little mad at you a little bit.
Okay. We'll talk about all that.
I got over it. I'm good.
All right, man. So this is our first real sit-down interview, I feel.
Right.
So I want to start in the very beginning.
Right.
Born and raised in Southside, Queens.
South Jamaica, Queens.
South Jamaica, Queens.
South Jamaica, yeah. Shout out to the whole South Side. Shout out to the North Side.
Yep.
Because, you know, shout them out. Shout out to the whole Queens, man. Left Rack, wherever, you know, Queensbridge, Corona. Queens is big. You know, we the biggest borough, but people don't realize that in New York City.
Right.
They think Brooklyn is the biggest borough or the Bronx, but Queens is the biggest borough.
Of course.
Definitely.
So, what was South Jamaica, Queens like in the 80s and 90s?
Well, as the 80s as a kid, I remember like block parties, fireworks. You know, everything was basically fun. You know, I mean, your next door neighbor could slap you. Like my next door neighbor was Miss Peoples. Rest in peace. Shout out to Miss Peoples. And she be in the window all day. And if you do something messed up, she go tell your parents. Like, and then I remember one time, as we got older, you know, the younger boys, my man Hakeem and Weezy, they lived there. And I could tell a story. They had a Calico when Calicos first came out. And they tried to tell it was a telescope. And she was like, get the hell out, get the fuck out of here. That ain't no telescope. And she went and told my parents was Haitian. Haitian parents are kind of stern. Like, you know, they'll whip your ass, they'll slap you. You know, island parents is different than, you know, just being in America.
Yep.
American parents.
Well, you're the youngest of 3 kids.
Yeah.
And your parents actually stayed together until you were 16.
Yeah, 16.
So you had a pretty stable home life.
Yeah, definitely it was stable. But at that point, it sounds fucked up, but like when my pops, I always loved my father. Like before he passed in 2018, he lived with me. I took care of him. So I know how it is. You know, your pops get older. He was 82, medication. So, you know, rest in peace to him. But I looked at it as an advantage because my pops used to chase me off the block when I was on 134 on God Brewer. So at this point now, my pops left. My mom's is always working because like island parents is always working. My mom's was a nurse. So all I knew was work. And my father was gone now, so I had more time to be on the block.
And that's when you started dabbling in
definitely
street activities.
Definitely.
I mean, at what point did you feel like you jumped off the porch and really got involved in the street?
I would say 15.
Okay. Right before the divorce, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay. And how did that start?
I mean, everybody around my way sold drugs. Like, you know, you had, you know, Fiddy, which we call him Booboo. Like, he jumped off the porch, I would say, at 12 years old. So I was 3 years behind. He was always ahead because he was 12 years old. And I remember, like, going to the block and seeing him with the high-riser ring, little nigga, the rhinestone jacket, you know, niggas getting money to cars on the boulevard. So that's what always impressed me. And like now it's more gang culture, but before it was like more the drug dealer culture.
Right. So is that how you guys actually met, from being on the street together?
He was just like a legend in my hood. Like 50 was like everybody knew him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I live on 159. Banks live right here. So I knew Banks my whole life, but Banks was younger than us. And then Booboo, we call Booboo 50. He was just like a legend in my hood. Like he got chased by the police. Like he was probably like, he had 1100 motorcycle, because 50 always had shit. It wasn't like he was broke. He always, you know, had the block, 20 workers. You know what I'm saying? So he had 1100. It was blue, yellow. I think it was blue, white, and another color. And so some dude caught a double homicide in Bricktown. And 50 had the same bike as him. It was 1100 Yamaha. And it was the illest police chase ever Queens ever seen. Like he's coming out, got Brewer, Old Dan. Like they got helicopters, they got dogs, rest in peace, my man Fat Shot. They got dogs running through his backyard and we hustle. Like our stories are real. Like a lot of people come on your show and like try to fabricate like niggas ain't real. And it's like, I don't glorify being real, but like I could tell you like when Black Just, and I put this in one of my songs, I got a mixtape coming out, The Loyal 2. I got the cannabis going. I got a lot of stuff. Like I said something in the line. Like I'm like, when Black Just brought Nas to the block, I was serving fiends. Mm-hmm. That shit is real.
Yeah, rest in peace, Black Just.
Yeah, rest in peace, Black Just. He was a legend, but he brought Nas to the block. And I didn't, like, New York niggas, we never really asked artists for a picture, so I don't even trip when a nigga fuck with me from a distance, because New York, different is different. You know, when we came up, if a nigga give you this in New York, you was good with that, the head bop, because New York ain't no place like New York. But that shit is real. Like, I was serving fiends when Black Just brought Nas to the block. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was outside, you know what I'm saying? 50 was outside, so it's like all real, you know what I mean? Like, nothing's not authentic. Niggas ain't snitches, ain't no paperwork out on niggas. Like, I wouldn't be around 50 if I ain't think he was a real nigga. And he's a real nigga. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, 17 Benzes, Land Cruisers, he had the block, he had the hood. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, with that life comes arrests, comes rip-offs, comes shootouts, comes robberies. What do you think during that part of your life was the worst thing you personally went through?
I mean, I can't really tell you. The block was always fun. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, fireworks on the block. You know, they throwing M80s in the A&A store. You know, everybody meet up. And, like, at that time, you had Lost Boys outside. So you had Freaky Ty and these niggas. We've seen their success. Rest in peace, Freaky Ty. He was like an idol to me. Like, Cheeks and them was from Rockaway. Freaky Ty was right around the block from us. So we seeing Freaky Ty's success, Lost Boy success. You know, I looked at him as a real nigga. Freaky Ty was like a legend to me. So I'm watching the Lost Boys, but while the Lost Boys was doing music, we was selling drugs. We was on the block. So a lot of niggas go on your show and they talk funny shit, but a nigga like me, I don't talk bad. Like I always say this, 50 can shit on me, Eminem can shit on me, Dr. Dre can shit on me, because I feel like that's paved the way for us. That's it. They could say, fuck you, Yayo, fuck, we don't fuck with you, you a bitch, whatever. And I would respect it and just not say anything. I'm from the hood. I never thought I would see Dubai. I never thought I would see Paris. I never thought I would see these places. You know, one thing about 50, we staying in the Waldorf Astoria. A lot of people, when they boss is in position, they might not have you staying in the best hotel in Paris or the Ritz, or, you know, people might think 50, he's a little crazy. He is crazy. But I understand, because everything, that's how you don't miss flights. That's how you punctual, you on time. Because it's like the military with that nigga. Oh, yeah. He's on time for everything because he treated like the block. Right.
And he doesn't drink, doesn't smoke.
Nah. Well, he drinks now because we promoting his liquor. Shout to Branson. You know what I'm saying? I've got the Branson in the cup now.
Right. But you never seen 50 twisted and falling down and everything else like that. You know what I mean? And he doesn't smoke weed and everything else like that. So
I mean,
he's always been about his business. I've always respected 50. Let me just put that out
50's about
there.
his business. And until you put that story up, the fake guy who said he got shot in the car, I'm looking at the story on Vlad. I'm like, I don't even know the guy.
Well, we'll talk about that. And that was a mistake on our part.
No, it's all good.
Yeah. And as soon as I saw 50 post it, that it's fake, we took it down right away.
But you know, people want the clout. They know when you go on Vlad, it's going to go viral. You know what I'm saying? It's going to do its numbers.
Now listen, you do thousands of interviews every so often, you get it wrong.
Right.
You know, and that was a mistake on our part. We took it down.
Right.
And, you know, it is what it is.
Right.
Okay. So here you are, you and 50 are cool. Are you rapping at all?
Yeah, I got a mixtape coming to Loyal. It's going to be independent.
No, I meant at that time. Were you rapping originally?
Oh, yeah, I've been rapping. Like, I was rapping in the clubs. Like, I was in the streets, so I was in the clubs. Grandmaster Vic, rest in peace. My man Rough Hands was a DJ. So we went to all the parties that got shot up. Shout to the Rockaway Twins, shout to Goldfinger, shout to Grandmaster Vic. All them parties in the 90s. That's why when they be like, if you knew Ja Rule or Irv Gotti, I didn't know. I never heard of Irv Gotti as a DJ. All I knew was Grandmaster Vic, Dog Time, Clue. I used to go to Jamaica Avenue and pick the mixtapes up, like at Hot Wax. Motherfuckers don't know about hip hop. They try to forget the culture. I'm talking about we in every party. That's why I mentioned the Rockaway Twins and Grandmaster Vic. So I was familiar with music. I'm a music guy. Because if the party gets shot up, a lot of parties got shot up. There was no laptop. We got to take back 12 crates. That's my man. Rest in peace, Fat Shah. That's like DJ Rough Hands. That was like my partner. So I've been rapping in clubs. Freaky Time, them niggas there. I'm in the clubs and shit. Shout out to his little son, because I know his son doing music right now, too.
Rest in peace, Freaky Time also, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Another loss. Okay, so you're rapping, but it's not really picking up yet. And in 1996, 50 Cent meets Jam Master Jay And I guess Jay just assumed he was a rapper based on how he looked and how he dressed.
50 had the Benz. He had the Land Cruiser at like 17 and 18. He had the big boy Benz. He had the white panties and that shit. Like 50 was just a wild cat. Like, you know, 2 guns in that motherfucker. Big boy Benz riding around, and he was 18 years old. So he could still go to high school 17 and pick a bitch up in the Benz, you know what I mean? So he been getting money. He was like a hero in my hood.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So he meets Jam Master Jay.
Definitely.
Who asked if he was a rapper, and he said no. So he's like, but Jay saw some potential in him right then and there.
Because you see a young nigga in the Benz pushing that big boy Benz, of course.
And I guess he teaches them kind of how to structure raps and
how to
put together songs.
How to format songs. Rest in peace to Jam Master Jay. He taught him how to like format the music and shit like that. I remember my first experience with them is Onyx.
Right.
Onyx video. Kill Him in the Club.
Right.
At the ice hockey rink. And they was ice skating and shit. And it was so crazy because Sun C, you know, I'm like, let's keep it real. Black people don't really know how to ice skate like that. You know what I mean? Hockey is really, you know, you never really see too many. So I'm looking at it like, yo, this ice. You know what I mean? I'm like, to get on that shit is like, you know, almost as dangerous as roller skating, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So boom, I'm watching them on the sideline. I'm with 50 because 50 took me everywhere. I was with him from day one. Mm-hmm. And Sun C just busts his head open. Sun C, boom! Fall and shit, bleeding everywhere. I'm like, yo, that shit crazy, bro. So 50 was like, yo, put me in the penalty box. I'm not going to get on that. It was funny because Sun C, ambulance, all that shit came. Yeah, Onyx, that shit was cool.
Right, and then 50 actually showed up on Onyx's React.
Yeah, Kill Him in the Club, baby, show some love.
And that was his first appearance
that's
on a record.
They did it in a hockey rink. If you can look, 50's in the penalty box.
There you go.
Because Sun C, that nigga shit was fucked up. Boom. And you know, I was fucking with Onyx until, you know, the shit with 5.
Until the shit that happened, yeah.
Come on, throw your guns in the air and all that.
Okay, so then by 1999, 50 Cent gets a deal with Columbia Records.
Right. Trackmasters.
Yep.
Right.
And then he drops How to Rob.
Definitely. It ruffled some feathers, but it was a cool
Ruffled some feathers is what it did. He dissed P. Diddy, Bobby Brown, Whitney Houston, Wu-Tang Clan, Jay-Z, Stevie J, Big Pun, Master P, Will Smith, and Jada Pinkett. Corrupt, Foxy Brown, Jermaine Dupri, DMX, Sticky Fingers, R. Kelly, Mike Tyson, Busta Rhymes, and I'm actually not even naming all of them.
But How to Rob, but you're not mentioning who was on there. Who else was on there?
The Mad Rapper.
The Mad Rapper was on there. So, and the Mad Rapper was on Biggie album, right?
Right.
And it was some joke shit, right?
It was some joke shit. I took it as a joke, right? Most people took it as a joke, but not everyone took it as a joke. Number one, it was a brilliant song. Just a perfect, you know, like when you drop a perfect song with a perfect beat and you know,
but 50's
a perfect
crazy like
introduction.
that. I mean, he's crazy like that. I mean, he figured out his marketing plan, and it worked. How to Rob was a classic. Right. Because Pun dissed him, Jay dissed him.
Jay-Z responded on
and
his
it was
high.
cool. And 50 was happy when Jay dissed him.
How could you not be happy? I mean,
and the Pun diss was cool. Pun the album, Pun is a fucking legend. Rest in peace. His son is fire. Like, he's fire.
Wu-Tang dissed him.
Yeah, Wu-Tang. Come on, they legends.
Corrupt dissed them.
I love Wu-Tang. They still hate me, but it's cool. I love them. I'm watching the show. I love them. They hate me. I love Ghostface. I love Raekwon. Everybody.
Yeah, it is what it is.
You know, but you got to understand. For me, you got to understand. Me coming up as a kid, I listened to Fat Joe, Jealous One's Envy. I listened to Wu-Tang, 36 Chambers. Dun, 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 dun. So they looked at it like when we came up and we was like in battles and dissing, because everybody had beef with 50.
Right.
But like, you got to understand, it's the nigga I came up with, so I was riding with him, but that don't mean I wasn't a fan of Wu-Tang, Fat Joe, DMX, anybody. I was a fan of everybody, but we always, I look at G-Unit, we always was the bad guys.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, from day one, from coming out with How to Rob.
Right.
Just
and then I looked at it like with the beef with Ja Rule. I never looked at Ja Rule in them as like real street nigga. Ja Rule probably sold a little bit crack, but he never had the block or nothing. Irv wasn't like in the streets. Like, no disrespect to them niggas. I don't care for them niggas. They, you know, it's forever fuck you and forever fuck me. I don't care. You know, because I fuck with 50 till the day I'm not here. But I never heard of Ja Rule. Like 50 was in them streets. He was out there. We was outside. You know what I mean? We was in the parties with Grandmaster Vic. We was in the parties that was getting shot up. We was in the building. 134 was looking good at that time. 134 and God Brewer.
I mean, speaking of Ja Rule, then, I mean, since you brought it up.
Yeah.
It's kind of fuzzy in terms of the origin of the beef between you guys.
Right.
You know, One story is that 50 robbed Ja Rule's man for a watch or a chain or something like that.
No, Ja Rule got robbed by Troy from Baisley, this nigga from the project, and 50 was cool with him, and that's how it kind of like all started.
Okay.
Right.
So that happened. Yeah,
because the streets looked at it like Ja Rule was getting extorted by Preem. Let's keep it real. Like, you know, like 50 wasn't getting extorted. Like back then, come on, a lot of the extortion game was crazy. You know, a nigga like Haitian Jack come put his arm around you. You know, you might give up some jewelry or something. Like, you know what I mean? Or certain niggas come put that arm around you. Preem put his arm around Ja Rule. That's $500,000. 50 ain't doing that. 50 ain't doing that, brother.
Well, the chain thing happened. And then I guess a run-in happened where a fight broke out.
Oh no, that was in Atlanta. Because we was rest in peace to Chaz. 50, you know, don't fuck with Chaz, but Chaz was managing 50 and Preem was managing Ja Rule.
Right. They ran into each other.
So we was in Atlanta.
You were there.
And I was with Chaz. I was there.
Yeah.
So it was Black Child, it was Ja Rule. I don't know, somebody else. And so, you know, 50, he boxed. He nice with his hands. I done seen him break niggas' jaws, all kind of shit. So Chaz is like, yo, it's cool. Let's talk it out. It's nothing. Yo, just come inside with me. Cool, boom.
Ja was standing outside the hotel, and he had like this little Louisville slugger in his hand, a short Louisville slugger. And, you know, he was standing there with, you know, a lot of Murder Inc. people and artists and his manager, and so.
And you were cool with all the Murder Inc. guys?
Yeah, I was cool with everybody. So I was like, you know, so when they said, yo, man, what's up with 50? I said, yo, they supposed to talk. Y'all supposed to talk. You know what I mean? So he said, all right. So when I went back to 50 and Yayo, I said to 50, I said, ain't you supposed to talk to oh boy? So he said, yeah. I said, so he was acting like he didn't really want to do it, you know. And I said, well, when are you going to do it? I said, you might as well get it over with now. And so, you know, I knew he was a little reluctant about doing it, but he said, all right, you know, no fear or nothing. I just knew that he wasn't feeling any kind of peace accord, you know, but, you know, he said, okay. And when he went to pull Ja to the side, pull him, you know, away from the guys to talk to him, Ja walked over there with the bat in his hand. And, you know, 50, as they talking, you know, how people sometimes talk and they gesture with their hands or whatever. He may have gestured with the bat as he's talking, and, you know, I think, you know, he raised his voice or something, and then 50 swung on him.
Yeah. And then all hell broke loose.
Yeah, kind of like, you know, it just got crazy, and basically, you know, we kind of got it squashed. I mean, you know, 50 ain't get hurt, nobody got hurt, that, you know. It was too many of them really trying to get at him that he didn't get a scratch on him, basically, you know.
Oh. And then it popped. When I ran outside, Ja Rule, I was black already. His shit was like this. 50 caught him already. His shit was like this already, nigga. Like this, right here. You see? Look, camera got it. You got it, Kim? You got my man from overseas? That shit was like this. 50 a boxer, caught Ja Rule already. And then I guess the chain pop, he snuffed him, and, you know, Southside nigga. And had the chain. Mm-hmm. Go in the hotel, he showed me the chain. Marquise had it, everybody, his son had it, everybody.
Ja Rule's chain.
Yeah, it was just getting passed around in the hood.
Okay. Wasn't there some sort of situation to give the chain back, though?
It was something with Preem where the Movado watch came. And I can tell you something funny. And the Movado watch, I'm going to tell you some real shit. It got stolen on me. It got stolen off of me on the Nas tour. That's what's crazy. Fifth was looking at me crazy. It was a Movado watch. Because the piece, it was a little tiny piece. It wasn't like Ja Rule shit was like, it was tiny. It wasn't no dumb big shit. You know what I'm saying? But some shit, I don't know how 50 handled it, but I had a Movado watch. I guess, you know, and I was on tour with Nas. I fell asleep in the lobby. I don't know what happened, but, you know, 50 was handling his business. He was doing his thing, and I'm in the lobby. I'm with Jungle and them, because that was one of my biggest tours that I ever been on, being on tour with Nas. Shout to Nas, you know what I'm saying? And then the watch was gone, and 50 was like, I didn't know what happened. Drunk in the lobby. I fell asleep in the lobby. The watch was gone.
So that situation happened, and then there was another altercation that happened in the studio.
Oh, the studio was something light, though. Yo, let me tell you, Ja Rule.
You were there.
I was there. Okay. I'm there for everything.
Right.
Ja Rule, Irv Gotti brother, them niggas are lucky.
Chris Gotti,
whatever his name, Chris Gotti, them niggas are so lucky because niggas had a 45, I swear to God, with no safety. If that shit was in the room, it would be a whole different scenario. Y'all don't understand how real it is. Ja Rule and them niggas would have been dead because either me or 50 gonna squeeze. You come running in the studio like that, we gonna squeeze. So they had God on their side. But we would have caught a body and niggas would have been in jail, bro. Either me and 50 would have been in jail. I swear on my dead father. Ja Rule would have been dead. Chris Gotti, all them niggas that ran in there, they would have been dead. Because the gun was right next door, like right where the couch is at, where you at. So if we would have got to that room or the gun would have been in that room, it would have been over. You thought we was traveling light at that time? You must be crazy. 50 had a gun before he got shot. Niggas had him. I ain't even have it. 50 had it. The 45 with no safety. Niggas would have been in a room that small. That room is smaller than this. I swear on my dead father. Ja Rule would have been dead. Chris, all them niggas that ran them would have been dead. And it wouldn't have been no 50 Cent story.
Yeah, I mean, luckily that didn't
It would have been Ja Rule got killed. Not lucky for them it didn't happen.
Lucky for everyone, because
you
know what I'm saying? 50 in prison is not a good situation.
Because if it was either
either.
between me and 50 to get that gun, you running in the studio, but they had like bitch niggas. They had like kitchen utensils. They had like motherfucking crutches and shit.
50 got stabbed that day, right? He did get stabbed,
Vlad,
right?
shut the fuck up with that shit.
Okay. He got
the
cut.
motherfucker had a scratch.
He got cut a little.
You want to see what I got? You look on my finger right here. If you look on my finger, I got cut right there. Just look bad because it was sliced and meat was hanging. No homo.
That was from that night?
So look, yeah, that was from that night. And this right here. And on the knuckle right there. 50 had a scratch.
There we have it.
It wasn't even that serious. They had like kitchen knives from the kitchen and like crutches and whack shit. Like, but if that 45 with no safety would have been in that room. There would be no Chris Gotti. There would be none of them. Everybody would have been dead.
So that situation happened.
Okay.
50's working on his album for Columbia Records, right?
Nah, he had a mixtape and he talked about it because they was talking about he had a little scratch on a mixtape.
Well, I mean, just during that time in general, he's working on music, right? Mm-hmm. And he does the song Ghetto Quran.
No, Ghetto Quran came out before that, no?
That was 2000. Well, it leaked in 2000.
I think Ghetto Quran was because Ghetto Quran was on Power the Dollar, brother. That was.
But that never came out. Power of the Dollar never came out during that time.
No, Power the Dollar was out. That I think.
I thought it never got released by Columbia because
it didn't.
Because remember,
Ghetto Quran was out in the streets though.
That's
basically.
what I'm saying. It got leaked to the streets,
right? Okay.
So it came out.
All right.
Hell of a song, by the way.
Okay, Ghetto Quran is one of the best songs in hip hop history.
Hell of a song.
Of course.
And in that song, he mentioned basically all the Queens street legends.
Okay, yes.
He mentioned Supreme, Prince, Fat Cat, Pappy Mason, Gus Rivera, Bimmy, Chaz, Corley Wall, Vinny Ocean Palermo, who Tony Soprano is based on, Thomas Tony Montana Mickens, Rich Porter from Harlem, Alpo, Furtado Brothers, and E Money Bags. Rest in peace.
Of course.
When that song came out, what was the effect in Queens of that record?
The 50 that nigga. It's not like everybody know the stories. Everybody knew, all the stories. But when a nigga like 50, there's only 4 niggas that I know personally in Queens that wasn't scared of Preem. 50, E Money Bags, Homo, and Big Nose Troy. So like Queens, you had them 3 niggas between Big Nose Troy, Homo, E Money. Them niggas that terrorized the whole Queens. You know what I'm saying? And you could read up about all the stories. It's all online. I don't want to.
Yeah, no, I mean, there was a book written that basically laid out everything that 50 rapped about.
But those are the only 4 niggas that I know wasn't scared. Like I remember one day we had Carl Michaels. That's how much I'm in the streets. We had Carl Michaels. My man O Smooth had the Chevy Nova. You heard? Mm-hmm. And we pull up in Carl Michaels. Preem I think he got the Volvo at that time. My man Kev Brock, God bless the dead, he's in there. He's older than me. And my man get real close to Preem Volvo and he say, yo, if you scratch this car, I'm jumping out because the whole project's gonna jump us. There's no Carl Michaels gas. I'm telling you shit. Niggas wasn't even outside. Like Carl Michaels gas station and restaurant right across the street from each other. He was like, yo, that's how I looked at, and this is an older nigga. He like, yo, you scratch this nigga car. But I remember Preem coming to the block one day And a nigga tried to like son 50 and rub his head, and 50 rubbed his head. Like, and Preem, and that was the day I know Preem didn't like 50. And the whole block was like, ooh, cause, you know, they had the kind of reputation where a lot of niggas were scared. Grown men, niggas older than me, but like I said, there's 4 niggas. Remember them 4 names. Booboo, 50 Cent, E-Money Bags, Troy, Big Nose Troy, and Hamo. Them niggas ain't give a fuck. They'll run up on your mama.
Well, after that song came out, then on May 24th,
Okay.
50's in front of his grandparents' house. And someone closed up.
I think it was way past that. I don't think you can't say Ghetto Quran is what. I don't think that.
Well, the shooting happened after Ghetto Quran came out, right?
But Ghetto Quran came out way before that. Because remember, 50 had a record he was about to do with Beyonce.
Huh.
He was about to do a record with Destiny's Child. We was about to shoot that video this week. That's why I said it's so crazy how God worked. Because you got to remember, rest in peace to 50 grandma. She was heavy in the church. We go to his house. They got the church, you know, the Sunday cakes. I think because of her, he's alive. Because I'm a big believer in God. If you can believe in whatever you believe, but I believe in God. But as much times as he got shot, you know what I mean? But we were supposed to do the Destiny Child video that week, I think. He had the song with Beyonce, Thug Love. We had Beyonce, Destiny Child in the studio early. That was like, you know.
Yeah. But then the shooting happened.
Right.
He gets shot 9 times.
Mm-hmm.
Did you go with him to the hospital?
Nah, I went to the hospital and he didn't want to see nobody.
Okay. He was there for 13 days.
Yeah, he didn't want to see nobody.
And he gets out and he's on a walker for 6 weeks, and it takes him about 5 months to recover. He's shot in the face. He lost one of his wisdom teeth. At what point?
And his voice sounded different at that point.
Exactly. At what point did you see him after the shooting?
It was like, it felt like a couple of days. It was like, he was just skinnier. It was like a couple of weeks later.
Yeah.
It wasn't no big thing. He took a lot of leg shots, hand shots, and the face shots. So in the hood, when a nigga catch a leg shot, it's like, nigga, come outside tomorrow. It ain't no big deal. You know what I'm saying?
You'll be all right.
You got to understand, we hustlers, man. That's why I said, I got the cannabis going right now, Vlad. Shout to Steve LaBelle. We working. You know what I'm saying? I'm fucking with shout to Burner. I'm out here in LA. I'm working the cannabis because we hustlers. We went to jail for that back in the days.
Now you're legally doing it.
Now we're legally doing it. You know what I mean? I got the Welcome to the Culture show, which I'm doing, you know, a podcast. Dope. You know, 50 might have a situation with me in Lionsgate.
Okay.
I got the Passport Gang clothing. Like, we hustlers, bro. And everything is authentic. Everything is real.
Yep.
Like, a lot of rappers, they could say what they say in their music. It don't matter if it's real or fake now, as long as it's good music. You know, but it's like, I don't try to glorify shit, but we was really in the street. We was really out of town. We was, you know, really going in the trenches. Like,
well, after the shooting happened, 50 ends up getting dropped from Columbia Records.
Right.
And then that's when the rebuilding starts.
Right.
Was Lloyd Banks, was he kind of with y'all already by 2001?
Lloyd Banks was a lyrical genius since 16 years old. I never forgot his first rap. He said, I keep the razor blade and the trapper keeper. I knew him. He lived right across the street from my mom's house, his mom's. So we just was rapping. Rap music is an escape. Like, if you in the streets and the block is hot and the DTs, TNTs coming out, they usually come out on Tuesday and Thursday. We go to my man Fat Shot house. We go in the basement. We spit some bars. I could tell you 50 first rap. I could tell you Banks first rap. You know what I'm saying? Because it's more of a cultural thing for us. Like, we looked up to Big Daddy Kane, Slick Rick. When I seen him, I'm a groupie. You know what I'm saying? We looked up to Cool G Rap, see him a groupie. So we remember the culture and hip hop and Beat Street and graffiti and you know how it was in the 80s, Run DMC. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's Christmas time, man. Hollis Queens. You know, we came up to them. To me, that was like one of the biggest groups of all time to me is Run DMC.
Of course. Yeah. Okay, because I remember in 2001, Lloyd Banks ends up getting shot twice.
Yeah, that was at a party. It was like
leaving a club. Were you guys already working on G Unit at that time?
Yeah, we had the mixtapes going already. We were starting to get the streets on fire.
Right.
You know.
Because first you guys dropped 50 Cent, Guess Who's Back?
Yeah, that was
mixtape.
I believe that was the first one.
Okay, and you actually show up on That's What's Up.
Yeah.
On that mixtape.
Yep. That G-Unit nigga, that's what's up. Yeah,
right. And then the songs You Not Like Me and Life's on the Line, which ended up showing up on Get Rich or Die Trying later on. So you guys are already laying the foundation of what's about to happen. Definitely. And then right around that time, I guess you guys are going on tour to promote the mixtape, and you guys hook up with Young Buck on tour.
Yeah, Young Buck.
And UTP.
He came from Juvenile. Yeah, he
exactly.
came from Juvenile. Yeah, we met him from Juvenile.
Exactly. And then 50 Cent Is the Future mixtape drops.
Right, yeah, that dropped.
I remember I moved to New York right around that time. And let me tell you, that was the biggest thing in the streets. Like, I was a mixtape DJ. It was the biggest thing. Like, when that dropped.
And we appreciate all the fans, everybody that ever supported G-Unit, because, you know, I feel like, you know, 50 was a genius because we could have signed with other deals, and bitch-ass Irv Gotti was trying to block us in the Universal system. So we had deals on the table, $2 million, but 50 was like, nah, Irv is going to block us because Ja Rule was still, you know, what would I be without you? The Cookie Monster was still on top a little bit. You know what I mean? So with that being said, like 50 waited for the right deal, and Eminem and Dr. Dre, you know, we came to the West Coast. You know
exactly. Well, because, you know, on 50 Cent Is the Future, you're actually on the cover. That's the first time I feel like the world
Banks
gets
too,
well, you and Banks, that's what I meant. But the two of you are actually on the cover with 50, and that's when you actually get introduced to the faces.
Right.
And you have a song called Tony Yayo Explosion, the solo song on that.
Bringing it back. Yeah,
yep. You're also on Bump That and Call Me.
Yeah, definitely.
So now you're like, people are getting to know Tony Yayo as well. And Eminem starts hearing the mixtapes, reaches out to 50, flies him out to meet Dr. Dre, $1 million deal.
Oh, I never
Shady Aftermath.
Yo, look, I remember the day on the phone, Eminem was on the phone. It was Eminem, Theo Scott, Amaya, me, 50. I think Smurf was there. Was Banks there? I'm not sure. I know Smurf was there and a couple other niggas. And at that time, Cristal was popping. You know, and there was a bottle of Cristal and the deal was signed, and I was just like, Eminem, it was just like, you know, a lot of people, you know, Eminem is like, he's in my top 5 MCs. So it's like,
right, man.
Slept on.
I mean, come on. By that time, the Marshall Mathers LP had already dropped, which was like sold like 20 million copies. Like, this was one of the biggest artists on earth.
But I say for me, for one verse was Renegade when him and Jay.
Yeah, when him and Jay went at it. And he won. Like, and he had the better verse.
Yeah, he showed his rapping capability that for the hood.
Yeah.
So, I mean, before I even knew Eminem or anything, it was like Renegade was like, made me a fan of Eminem. And I always say that, you know?
Yeah. Okay. And so you guys signed this deal.
Mm-hmm.
Was it around that time that you guys had your first performance at Speed nightclub?
I think so.
Yeah. Someone ended up getting stabbed.
I'll never forget James Cruz saying, like, the show is canceled.
Right. Someone got stabbed.
You know, James Cruz like, it's canceled. It's too dangerous. Security just got stabbed in the neck. And 50 was like, fuck that. And 50 came out, and it was crazy. We came out, and it was just
pandemonium.
You know, that's why I love New York City, man. They showed us so much love, man. And it's still to this day we get love for what we did in New York City, man. You know, ain't no place like New York to me, man. And all around the world. You know, overseas and everywhere. I mean, you know.
Well, he signs the deal, then you guys put out No Mercy, No Fear mixtape.
Definitely, yep.
Backseat is on that.
Yeah, Backseat, I forgot what beat it was.
And Wankster's on that mixtape.
Yeah, Wankster was on
and that becomes the first single.
Oh, yeah, that was crazy.
And that was crazy.
Yeah. He
that like introduced, I feel like if you're in New York, you knew all about 50, but then suddenly the whole world knew about 50 with Wankster.
Yeah, he stepped on Ja Rule neck with the Wankster. That was
it. It was a Ja Rule diss record.
Yeah, that was crazy.
You guys dropped God's Plan mixtape, I think, around that time.
Yeah, God's Plan was another one.
And then by the end of the year, on December 31st, you get arrested.
Yeah, but I was on the run for a gun charge anyway.
Okay, so what was the gun charge that you were on the run for?
Everybody thought I caught a gun charge the night of Coco Cabana, but I had a gun charge previously to that anyway.
Okay.
But I just rocked with it, like, fuck it, if they think, you know.
Okay.
I had a gun charge anyway.
Well, I guess when they started to search you, in the car, there was a Glock 20 handgun and a Colt AR-15 in the trunk.
That was security guns, but they was tripping.
But they were blaming you for that shit.
Nah, once I went in there and they like fingerprinted me and shit, and they knew I had like a warrant. It was over.
Okay, so it was the outstanding warrant from before.
Yeah, it was over. It was, yeah.
So now, basically, you're being sentenced for bail jumping.
Yeah, I got bail jumping. I got gun possession.
All that.
Yeah.
How did it feel for you to finally be, at that point, on top of the world? And now you got to go to jail.
I mean, I wasn't even mad because, like, I was in Barcelona, like, on the run. Like, I had my brother's passport.
Right.
I could talk about it now because I did time for it.
Right.
But it was cool. It was like, eventually, like, 50 grandfather, one day I'm at 50's house. Right there in the hood, on the couch, you know what I'm saying, in the hood. And 50 grandfather told me, you're going to have to face that iron curtain one day. And it always stayed in my head. Like, if you want to run, motherfucker, you eventually going to have to face the iron curtain.
Yeah. So
I flew around the world. I met Eminem. We did mad shows.
Right.
I was on the run.
It finally caught up to you. You get locked up.
Yeah.
And then after you get locked up, Get Rich or Die Trying comes out.
Right.
Biggest thing in the world.
Right.
Diamond. 10 times platinum.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
In the Club is the first official single.
I'm on Rikers Island.
You're on Rikers Island watching all this.
Island, sick, listening to everything. Like, just my luck.
Right. Like My Style is on the album, which you're featured on.
Definitely.
So absolute craziness is happening around 50.
Right.
Because of the success of Get Rich or Die Trying, Interscope gives him G Unit Records, and he signs all of G Unit, including you, including Young Buck.
Well, me and Banks were signed before that.
Okay, right. But he officially signed it to the Interscope deal, I guess.
Definitely, Interscope deal.
So then you guys are, well, you're still locked up, and G Unit starts working on the debut album.
Right.
And then Game, I think, joins G Unit around this time as well.
Right
around that time.
Yeah.
So then the G Unit Beg for Mercy album comes out. Since you're not there for the photo shoot, you're like on the brick wall.
But you know
in the
what
background.
I always looked at it like 50 blew up so big that Dr. Dre, I think he felt like, in my mind, and I don't know if it's true, but I felt like he had the pressure, he had to blow up a West Coast nigga too. And Game was right there, he was talented, and 50 threw him the assist, and he was killing the mixtapes. I was on Game first album, so I really don't know where things went wrong. I always say the poison was Jimmy Henchman.
Okay, we're going to get to all that. Yeah. Okay, so while you're locked up, G Unit Beg for Mercy album comes out.
Right.
Like I said, you're in the background. You're on the song Groupie Love.
Right.
And I Smell Pussy.
Yeah, I Smell Pussy. Yeah,
The album goes 6 times platinum.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Right, Beg for Mercy. I remember being in Shock. I was in the Shock program, and I think we outsold Jay that year. Like the first week. I'll have to look it up, but I remember.
I believe it. I mean, because G Unit and 50 was just the biggest thing, period, in music at that time.
Right.
So then, in January 8, 2004, you get paroled from prison.
Right.
And it lasted, what, 1 day?
Oh, yeah. That story, that story was crazy because whenever you get out of jail, they always tell you don't try to play catch up. So I was just speeding. And what happened was my paperwork for my parole officer, you remember I had the fake passport. It wasn't even fake. It was my brother's name. It was your brother's
passport, yeah.
It was my brother's name. We look sort of alike. So I used him to get in the passport place and everything like that. And this girl, I don't even want to say her name, but she put the passport in the folder. I was so excited home, I didn't even check the folder. So I handed the passport, actually. So it was my fault. I was just rushing, but I don't know why she put the passport in the folder.
That actually violated your situation. Yeah. So then you got...
So I remember my PO looking at the passport like, hold on. This not your name. I'm like, yeah, it was just a mistake. He was like, no, ain't no kind of mistakes it is. And then he was just told me to...
Because this is post 9/11 where the passport shit's a big deal.
Yeah, when it was like a big thing,
right.
So it was bigger. Before they all probably would have got a fine, slap on the wrist. But after 9/11, God bless everybody in that tragedy that, that it turned federal. And I understand because,
Right. So you got thrown back into the feds.
Right.
For, 6 months?
Yeah, 6 months.
Yeah. While you're sitting there in the feds, the Grammys rolls around. Eminem shows up to the stage.
No, you know what? No, the Grammys was on Rikers Island.
Oh, that happened with the Free Yayo shirt? Oh, okay, that was still Rikers Island. Okay, I got it wrong a little bit. Yeah.
Lower.
Aha. I mean, how did it feel to have the biggest artist in the world, Eminem, show up with a Free Yayo shirt?
I mean, this is why I try to tell you. I feel like in my career, because after 50 had the success of Get Rich or Die Trying, he could have went straight into the massacre, but he went in to Beg for Mercy to showcase his artist.
Yeah.
So I felt like, he always threw us to exist. I mean, sometimes, you know, when things don't go right for people, they might feel away. But I just feel like, you know, he made us millionaires. We had houses. You know, Fifth is crazy. He can be crazy at sometimes. You know, it's not like dealing with Jay-Z or Kanye or somebody. You know what I'm saying? You're dealing with 50 Cent. He don't play. You miss a flight, it's over. But that flight could cost money. Say we got a whole European run. You miss that one flight, it could trickle into 20 other flights. Mm-hmm. So it's a business.
Yeah, I think 50's business acumen is, you can't really debate it.
Right. Like I was a little bit, maybe 5-10 minutes late, but I'm used to, I would never be like over 10 minutes late because, you know, that's how it is. But he turned the lights on. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, when I got out of jail, you know where I lived?
He had like a condo set up for you?
Battery Park.
Yeah.
Manhattan. I come out of my building, I see the Statue of Liberty.
Right.
You know, you can walk out there barefoot, no glass. I lived there. And, you know, a lot of artists didn't have the opportunity to, you know, get out the hood and live. Like I always say, rest in peace, Stack Bundles. Stack Bundles, I wouldn't want him, if he was my artist, I wouldn't want him in Far Rockaway.
Where he got killed.
With the Porsche.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. Rest in
50
peace.
said, yo, you know, we seen Freaky Todd die right in our neighborhood because he got killed a couple of blocks away from where we live. So we learned early, like, where a rapper always get killed at, really in his hood.
Yeah.
You know, we learned that early. So 50 had me set up. I ain't sell a record or nothing. I'm in Battery Park.
Right.
You know, my PO was even jealous, like, where I lived at. Like, I had parole issues because, you know, we by the water, you see the Statue of Liberty. You know, it was crazy. So, you know, I always, you know, no matter how crazy it get, 50 could spaz out on me, it's cool. Or Eminem or anybody or Dr. Dre, but they turned the lights on, man.
Well, the Vibe Awards situation.
Yeah.
Were you there?
Yeah, I was there.
Okay. So you have these, you know, the Vibe Awards is a big award show.
Right.
You guys are there.
Right.
And Suge Knight shows up uninvited.
The thing about Suge Knight, I'm gonna tell you, Suge Knight is a pop-up master. Like, he'll pop up. He's like it's like the art of war. He just always surprise you. You never know when he's gonna pop up. Like, my first experience with him was in the club video shoot. Mm-hmm. And this is like our first times in LA. We looking at LA, we just thinking about the palm trees and the weed.
All right, Suge Knight showed up to that video shoot.
Yeah, Suge Knight showed up, and he had, I think it was the Mexican Bloods or something. It was crazy. It's the first time I seen like a motherfucker with a tattoo on his forehead, like in LA. Like all that face tat shit, that's the first time I seen that shit in LA. And he had like these Mexican blood niggas, but it wasn't really a big deal. Motherfuckers came outside and was like, I think niggas were honored to have beef with Suge. Like it was like,
it's like a rite of passage.
Almost like an honor, like, oh shit, this is Suge Knight. Yeah, we want to beef with him because he had the reputation that people wanted to beef with him. And then with the Vibe Awards, he was with Irv. So I never forgot. It was like they was walking in slow motion. They was walking by the trailers. And 50 being the genius he is, told James Cruz, go buy 15 knives. And James Cruz went, bought 15 knives, passed them on the trailer, and we was like, 15 niggas with knives is like, you ever seen American Me?
Oh, yeah.
You see how motherfuckers get that?
Yeah.
So you know,
15, that was the movie that made me never want to go to prison. Just so you know, that movie right there.
So you know, 15 niggas with knives, we moving like, come on, we moving like niggas in American Me.
Yeah.
So it's like, bro, I mean, that was genius. That's why I always respected 50, because what does an artist do when the pressure is there? You see Suge Knight, Irv Gotti walk by. You can't use a gun. You can use your hands, that's cool, but you never know what kind of nigga Suge got with him. We in LA. So, you know, James Cruz bought 15 knives and it's on and popping.
Right, because during the awards, this guy named Jimmy James Johnson approached Dr. Dre for an autograph.
Yeah.
Dre declined. He punched Dre.
Yeah, I think Suge definitely sent him.
Yeah, Suge sent him. He came with Suge, like I said.
Yeah, Suge.
I actually talked to the dude.
Yeah, Suge sent
the guy who.
Oh, word? What'd he say?
It was sort of a convoluted story, man.
What did he say?
It was a convoluted. It was like he came with Suge, but apparently he had some sort of weird beef with Dre over something petty from back in the day.
Suge sent him.
But he came with Suge. Like, you know what I mean?
He should have told you the truth. Suge sent him.
I don't know if it was the truth.
He asked for an autograph, but Dre did his thing. Dre
punched him back, but then at that point, all hell broke loose. And Young Buck ended up stabbing the guy. Allegedly.
No, that's not what happened? No, Buck had a fork That man got stabbed in the chest.
With a fork. Well,
he got stabbed in the head with a fork. Whoever stabbed him in his chest, I'm not saying no names, but his lungs collapsed damn near. Okay. He got stabbed in the chest because, like I said, we had 15 knives. I'm not saying I did it.
I'm not saying you did it either. But all I'm saying is that later on...
That man, look, the fork shit, shout to Buck.
Okay, shout out to Buck.
But when we was in the mansion and Buck seen that the police was like warrant for young Buck, Buck was like, man, I ain't do it, man. I ain't do it.
Okay.
Buck stabbed him with a fork.
Okay.
He got stabbed in the chest.
Whole brawl come about on a teleprompter, and then it just went kind of black. So I immediately told Banks, you know, come on, bro, let's get up here to the front. You know what I mean? And when I walked out onto the stage, the first thing I seen was Dre, man. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't even aware of whatever punch or the guy whoever walked up and hit Dre or however it went. I just seen Dre doing his shit. You know what I mean? Going for what he could. You know what I mean? At the time, but I just seen him getting down. You know what I mean? With a motherfucker, and I'm looking for 50. You know, I'm trying to find 50 more than anything. Like, big bro, there's so much commotion, bro. I just said, you know what, fuck this shit. You know what I mean? Let me get out here and get off the stage and get to it with the gang, because that's how shit go. And in the midst, you know what I'm saying, I seen a motherfucker having Dre kind of in a fucked up position, like where Dre was handling this shit, but it's only so much you can do with a motherfucker, you know what I'm saying, that's your same size or bigger. And it's 2-3 of these motherfuckers, so I was shit, man, done anything that I had to do. You know, and like I say, after whatever went on, man, I had a fork in my hand, you know.
Later on, Young Buck came out with a T-shirt that had a knife that said, "Don't make me do it."
Yeah, but Buck would, you know.
Okay, let me just put that out there.
Lucky he had
so
Scott
I'm saying
Lehman,
he played it up, regardless of what actually happened.
Yeah, definitely, but he had Scott Lehman. Shout out to Scott Lehman. Scott Lehman got K-Flock right now. K-Flock case right now.
Free K-Flock.
Shout out to Scott Lehman. You know, 50, that tab is big with 50.
Right.
50 tab was like, we probably $1 million in lawyer fees. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, people look at him as a bad guy, but, you know, you got to see the good he do too. Because that tab was 50 tab, Scott Lehman, that he took care of Buck.
And Buck ended up essentially getting, probation.
Definitely. Shout out to Branson Cognac. Shout out to We Working. My Strand Passport Boys, we coming soon. The Loyal mixtape too. Got to talk about that.
Well, around that time, Game is working on his solo album, which you're on. 50 wrote on 6 songs.
Right.
I remember during that time, I was doing like some DVD shit with Game, and I remember dealing with the Aftermath guys.
Right.
And I remember one of them even mentioned there was like some songs on there with Nate Dogg.
Right.
And from what I understand, 50 actually did those hooks, but since 50 was so much on the album already that they had to put Nate Dogg on some of those hooks just so there's less 50, because it was almost like damn near a duet album between the two of them. So they had to put more emphasis on Game by putting Nate Dogg on there.
I always thought Game was a dope MC, dope artist. I feel like it was cool that Dre blew up an East Coast nigga, a East Coast, whole movement. He had to blow up a West Coast now.
Yep.
I'll tell you, the poison in that was Jimmy Henchman.
Do you think that was the
Jimmy Henchman never liked Chris Lighty.
Oh.
He never liked Chris Lighty. It was always jealousy, and rest in peace to Chris Lighty. That's my icon. So Chris Lighty always had like hate from people because, he had P. Diddy, he had 50, he had Foxy.
He had Missy,
he had LL.
He had LL, yeah.
He had Missy to the point where
Busta Rhymes.
Yeah, he had Busta, where Henchman moved on the same block. Remember, because it was on...
Across the street.
It was 40-40.
Yeah.
Violator, and Henchman was across the street.
Yep. I remember that.
So I felt like the Henchman beef, I didn't know the guy. I felt like it was inherited from, Chris Lighty. Like, he never liked the guy.
Well, the album comes out. Hell of an album.
Right.
Game's album, which you're on as well.
Yeah,
a classic.
I love that song, yeah.
And I guess what had happened was Game had done an interview saying that whoever, 50 has beef with, he doesn't necessarily have beef with himself. And 50 goes on the radio and basically says the Game is kicked out of G-Unit.
Yeah, but you got to understand, man. Listen, check this out. when you in a group, man, it's egos, man. Motherfuckers is from the hood. Niggas ain't got no money, no financial experience, nothing, ain't make a dollar. You know, when it's egos there, man. It's egos, you know? But for Game, I looked at it like I heard the songs 50, you know, co-written by 50, writing the songs.
Yeah.
And it was fire. I just looked at it was the ultimate assist. Man, 50 was on some shit. You fuck with my ops, then you a op. Everybody know that. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, bro, we built some big shit, man.
Right. Because after 50 announced on Hot 97, Game went to go talk to him, and then a shootout happened outside Hot 97. Were you there with 50 when all this was occurring?
I was there.
Okay. That was the reason why rappers can't go and do freestyles at Hot 97 anymore.
Shot 9. We was Shot 9-7.
Right.
You know, he was banned from Summer Jam, Shot 9.
All that.
We had to go to the other radio station. Shout to Hot 97.
Yep.
Not Shot 9-7. You know, but yeah, that was cool.
Yep. And then essentially that set up a beef between Game and G Unit that went on for years and years and never really got resolved. But shout out to Game. Shout out to everyone. It was maybe at some point you guys will work it out. Maybe not. It was
kind of stupid. I mean, listen, man, all it was a lot of money missed. You know, because in the midst of that beef, we could have went on tour with Game.
Would have been crazy.
Banks.
Yeah.
We didn't, at that point, 50's on his own page. So, you know, 50 always says, damn, why didn't go on their own tour? Imagine me, Game, Banks, and Buck on the tour. We could have made our own bag.
Millions.
So, you know, it's just the ego. See, Yayo was the one that humble nigga. I never had an ego because I'm straight from the block. So for me, seeing the world and making a bag and buying houses, you know, I got 2 houses still. So it's like buying houses, making money, sprinklers coming out the ground. I was happy. Bentleys, Benzes. I was happy. You know, all the women love you now. You know, I was happy with what I had, but there's always egos like involved. You know, that's why when I see niggas get money now, like when you look at Money Bag, Yo Camp, and you seeing niggas get money and there's no egos, 42 Doug, all these niggas, there's no egos.
That's how it should be.
I never had an ego.
It seemed like you were kind of the peacekeeper, or you tried to be the peacekeeper in a way, but it doesn't really. But you're dealing with dudes with big egos, like you know.
We went from 25 chips on the block, getting the beef patty with cocoa bread, hustling in the snow, you know, rain, sleek, and snow. So this was my dream. You know what I'm saying? I was happy. So I was at a point where I was just happy. It's always egos.
Yeah.
You know, when niggas getting, you know, money and, you know, they got women now and cars and, you know.
Well, 50 drops the second album, The Massacre.
Yeah.
9 times platinum. Yeah, definitely. Once again.
Definitely did good. Yep.
And then you drop your first single, So Seductive.
Definitely. Right,
which, you know, we were talking about this before the interview. One of my favorite G Unit songs, period.
It still rocks in the club now.
I love the beat. I love both your verses. I love the chorus.
Right.
Just the way, like, you know, sometimes you have these perfect songs.
Definitely.
That to me was a perfect song.
Definitely. It was perfect. It was definitely.
It was absolutely perfect. And then.
It made me a lot of money, man.
You drop your debut album, Thoughts of a Predicate Felon, number 2 on the Billboard charts.
Definitely.
How did that feel? To be the number 2? I mean, you're going against the biggest artist on the planet. You're the number 2 album.
Kanye at that? Yeah.
No, I think 50 went against Kanye. Remember?
No, I think I went against Kanye too because.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah, because I remember that. I did some good numbers, but I remember Kanye dropping, and that's when he said George Bush was racist.
Well, I remember Kanye and 50 had that cover like on Rolling Stone, they were facing each other.
Definitely. But I'm telling you, my album dropped around.
Okay.
Kanye album dropped. You can look it up.
I believe you. I believe you.
But
number 2 on the Billboard charts.
Yeah, number 2
ends up going gold.
Definitely.
And I feel like you got some of the best beats in G Unit on that album.
Definitely.
Like whoever, you know what I mean, you got with.
No, I picked everything.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I felt like the album was rushed, and I felt like I felt like because I was in my condo, I wasn't really smoking no weed. Okay. I was on I had parole officer. He was jealous of me. He's running up in the house. He's telling banks and girls, talk to me. Who are these people? Mm-hmm. So I felt like, and then we was in the condo, and I was like doing it in-house. I was on house arrest. I was on state house arrest, then Fed house arrest. So it was just a lot. Everything was just going so fast.
Well, regardless of what happened, hell of an album.
Yeah, definitely.
Drama Setter featuring Eminem. Oh, yeah. You got Eminem on your fucking album.
Yeah, definitely. Start off the album.
Who could say
Shout
that?
Out to Eminem, OG Trice on that one. Man.
On Drama Setter. I Know You Don't Love Me with 50. Hell of a song, hell of a beat. Live by the Gun.
Definitely.
Incredible beat. This is what I'm saying. Like the beat selection on this album
Definitely
was incredible.
Yeah, man.
Just is what it is.
I'm gonna be waiting till you hear the new stuff that I'm about to drop, and it's no pressure because I'm like independent now. So when you hear the new stuff I got some features on there. It's called a Loyal Mixtape. I got, some other stuff coming too. I'm gonna drop like 3 projects.
Dope. Okay. So right around that time, everything's going good. The game thing is still happening.
Right.
And then Just Those Mixtape Awards rolls around.
Oh yeah.
I actually was a nominee that year. I actually won for a mashup of the year that year, but never actually got to accept my award because fights kept breaking out. Jimmy Henchman was there deep. You guys were there deep.
That day the Apollo was like right.
I remember one of Jimmy's guys like took grabbed the mic on stage and dissed y'all, and like it was a mess.
Nah, it wasn't that. It was just.
I remember a guy grabbed the mic. One of Jimmy's guys said something. Yeah.
Now that you say it was the Apollo, right?
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy that night.
I could have avoided everything with Jimmy Henchman, but I had so much ego, 50 just gave me the Bentley. I had the Benz. Like, I'm that nigga. I'm in the streets. Motherfuckers, we them niggas, man. We them niggas. So I had the niggas on deck. Niggas ready to go. Niggas ready to go. When you got money and power, you just feel invincible, man. I feel like at a point in life, I just felt invincible. Even Hip Hop Police told me one day, like, yo, you feel invincible going against Henchmen. But it was like, I felt like Henchmen sucked my dick. Like, at that point, I don't know. Like, this is the nigga that went against, Pac went against him. Pac called him a rat. And niggas in the industry was still, like, fucking with him. You know what I'm saying? So, I just felt like, yo, Henchmen came to me and said Sock Passe. And Game was talking mad shit. Game wasn't there.
Yeah, Game wasn't there. You're right.
But I'm going to keep it real. We had, I could say it now because I'll say it, Niggas had the things in there. Like, we was ready to go.
There's a lot of tension that night.
Listen, that night. We had it in there. And I had some knuckleheads with me, Maserati Fox.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. I had Monster with me. I had a couple of niggas that was, I had my man Big Kev with me, did like 20 years. So it's like when I seen Henchmen, and my ego was like at the time I said, like my ego. Sometimes I was in the wrong. But with Henchmen, it's always going to be, fuck you, suck my dick. You shot my mom's crib up, nigga. Well, you know what I mean? But listen.
That didn't happen
yet. That didn't happen yet. We ain't going to feed it. But what I'm saying to you is, at the end of the day, like, my ego was there, and Henchmen felt like he's that nigga from years ago, even though it's been documented that he's a rat. But niggas still, niggas fuck with police, rats, all that in the music industry. That's why I know this shit is all like, I always thought it was like wrestling. With him though, I felt like when he said what's up to me, Sock Passe and Game was dissing me, I think it like, he looked at me as a rapper, not a street nigga, but I'm really a street nigga. Like, I'm not trying to glorify it, but we niggas are really in the streets. I feel like a street nigga that got on and rap. You know what I'm saying? I'm driving my Bentley through Fort Green Day. I'm driving my Bentley in the Bronx. I'm driving my Bentley in Harlem. I'm driving my Benz in Harlem. I'm everywhere in the streets. You name it, Yayo there. You know what I'm saying? So my ego was there, and when he gave me that dap, I just was like, man, get the fuck up out of here. And that kind of had him mad, because he felt like, he's a nigga that roll with, Tut, these niggas are legends. Jack legend. These niggas are street legends. These niggas get busy. I'm not saying Henchman wasn't a slouch, you know what I'm saying? But he was a rat. Niggas said he was a rat. He told on niggas in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? But niggas in the industry are still fuck with him like, nah, he official, but he's a rat, whatever. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just looked at it like, at that point, 50's my nigga. 50's a real nigga. I looked at 50 as a real nigga. You know what I'm saying? He giving me Bentleys. We running around. And not because of material things, but like, 50 was never like, for the OG niggas, like, you know what I'm saying? That be in the hood, 50 never just be like, it's whatever, man. Like, it's about me. So, like, he never got extorted. So I learned from him, like, nigga tried to hit me with the Sock Passe. I looked at that as like, you got Game dissing us, friendly extortion.
Well, after everyone left the awards, your Bentley got shot up. You weren't in the car at the time.
No, I was in a bulletproof truck behind the Bentley.
But your Bentley got shot up.
Definitely.
And from what I understand, someone in your entourage got shot in the shoulder.
Nah.
No?
No.
Okay.
Nobody in my actual car got shot in the shoulder.
Someone that was with y'all?
I don't know about all that.
That's what I heard.
I'm just telling you.
That's what I heard.
In my car, you could go into that. But my car, nobody ever got shot in my vehicle.
Got it. I'm not saying that.
My car had big ass holes.
I'm just saying it was a mess after that award show. It was a mess. That's my point.
Of course, it was cool.
Okay. Was this around the time that...
And we can talk about this because hip hop police, the feds know about it.
I mean, it's past statute of limitations.
Yeah, no, but they know. Like, it's not...
Exactly.
Hip hop police know.
Yeah.
The feds know everything. That's what people don't understand. Like, hip hop police, like, there's times where they pull niggas over, and my man, I used to mess with a dude named Beaver. They'd be like, Beaver, get out the car. They knew his name. They knew everything about him. You know what I'm saying? So,
man, the feds know everything.
Hip hop police,
feds know everything. 98% conviction rate.
Yeah,
they're not shooting in the dark.
Because you know they even be like, "Yo, Vlad, you do his interviews,
you're
gonna get locked up." I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna say the wrong thing. Trust me."
Now, around that time, 50 started beefing with Fat Joe because his affiliation with Ja.
Fat Joe.
Shout out to Fat Joe. And I can't figure out the year.
Or are you talking about the song?
Well, no. I'm talking about the beef started, and then you were in Miami.
Because remember that beef started with 100 rounds, 100 clips.
Right, New York. Yeah, Fat Joe's in the song.
Yeah,
and you were in Miami to do a radio show.
Shout out to Pistol Pete. I just spoke to Pistol Pete yesterday.
Shout out to Pistol Pete.
It's cool.
You were in Miami.
Fat Joe, listen. Fat Joe's a real one.
100%.
Listen. Them Spanish niggas in the Bronx get busy.
Yeah.
Pistol Pete get busy. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you. It would have got ugly. Yeah. I say the realest beefs. I would say, yeah, Henchman was a real beef because Henchman was getting money at that time. So Henchman and Fat Joe. Yeah. I don't even look at Ja Rule shit as serious. I looked at Fat Joe as more serious. Because, you know, them Dominican, Puerto Rican niggas in the Bronx, man.
I know, Fat Joe's
they got the knife game.
Fat Joe is completely thorough.
They got the knife game and the gun game.
Let me tell you, in my last Fat Joe interview, he said that he will stab someone right now if they told him to suck his dick.
In New York, I feel this is a New York thing. What is it about the word suck my dick that gets people so riled up? I don't understand it.
But you say it, you know what I mean? You tell another man, suck my dick.
What does that even mean, though? That's like...
That means suck my dick. That means like it's a different type of thing, bro.
But that don't even sound appealing.
Probably
like, you know what I mean? Like
disrespectful shit they invented to say.
Like, yeah, he sucked my dick.
I mean,
give me a high five.
Not justified.
Okay.
Not justified in court. You know, you can't go to court and say, "Yo, he said suck my dick, so I killed him."
But it's some jail shit, right?
I'm gonna be honest with you. If somebody told me suck my dick right now in this hallway or something like that, I would stab him up or something right now. Like, I'm just being honest with you. I would really, really hurt this
Those
guy.
words are that serious to you?
Yeah, those are serious to any real nigga. Like, that's like that's I don't know. You might as well just put a death threat or something right in the card. I'm gonna kill you or something like that.
No, I believe it.
Even with all the money, Fat Joe will still, and I believe him.
That's one beef. Fat Joe, I'm glad it got squashed because, you know what I'm saying? Like, Pete was a real one. Joe was a real one. Macho, niggas is real. Yeah. Niggas over there was real. He had some real niggas around him that was ready to die for the shit as well as us. Real niggas that died for shit. But, you know, rest in peace, Chris Lighty.
That's what essentially ended the beef. Yeah. At his funeral.
Right. Yeah. Rest in peace.
I'm glad that happened. Weren't you in Miami on a DJ Khaled's radio show?
Yeah. And me and Khaled almost had a shootout.
Yeah, because he wouldn't shake your hand?
No, what happened was I told motherfuckers they said he was playing Seductive.
Yeah.
He was playing 50 records. You know, and I'm not mad at Khaled because he was being loyal to TS at the time.
To Joe,
It's the music business. That's who put him on.
Of course.
So I'm not mad at Khaled. I'm not mad at his success. I know he'll never fuck with me and I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm gonna keep it real. I know a lot of industry niggas ain't gonna fuck with us. Like, but for me, I don't really give a fuck.
Yeah.
I never cared because I never cared to fuck with niggas. Like, if 50 stop fucking with me tomorrow, I'm not gonna be on stage.
Yayo has never been an industry guy.
You not?
let's just put that
it's
out
not
there.
even. I fuck with a lot of niggas' music. I fucked with, like I said.
But you're always been loyal to 50.
I was fucking with Fat Joe music before he even knew that I knew him. Jealous One's Envy. Yeah. I was fucking with Pun Record when he dissed 50, that album right there. Wasn't it Capital Punishment? When he said I shoot 50, niggas was listening to that shit. I was a fan of Wu-Tang before we had beef with them. 36 Chambers. My man was a DJ, so I looked up to all these niggas, but at the end of the day, if a nigga don't fuck with me, because I know the industry's fake anyway, a nigga will be cool with a nigga and talk about him when he leave. So I learned that early in the game. If a nigga don't fuck with me, it's cool, it's fine. Like, Wu-Tang don't fuck with me. Like, mad niggas don't fuck with me. But it's cool, it's fine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It don't mean nothing to me. Like,
right.
I learned one thing. A wise man once told me, everybody ain't gonna love you in life. I give a fuck.
I feel the same way.
I came in the industry not giving a fuck. I leave the industry not giving a fuck. Niggas don't gotta fuck with me. Niggas can fuck with whoever they wanna fuck with. It don't mean shit to me. As long as my kids, I got a daughter in college right now. I don't wake up and think about rappers or Instagram and all that. I just do what I do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So the situation in Miami happened.
Right.
Luckily, it didn't get bad.
Oh, it could have got crazy. It was about to get
It could have got crazy.
And you know what's crazy? K Fox was there.
Yeah.
And K Fox was like, come on, guys, it's Tupac's birthday. I never forgot it. Cause it was like Tupac's birthday. And the Shot 9 situation just happened. It was about to get ugly.
Yeah.
His man was in there with that thing, and we had that thing, and niggas was like, yo, you eat shells in here. It was about to get crazy. But I knew it wasn't a good idea from the beginning. I told Nelson, you know Nelson.
Yeah, of course.
I told Nelson, I'm like, yo, this is not a good idea. DJ Khaled, I was like, come on.
Right.
These guys was beating up my street team. Well, remember DJ Epps? You know Epps?
Yeah. Well, from what I understand, though,
chasing my street. You know the street team mans? They would chase them off the block, beat them up.
Well, I mean, from what I understand, the reason why that even happened was because DJ Khaled was actually getting paid from G Unit to actually do promos, so that's why they thought it was all cool. But apparently,
no, I think he was just paying. I don't know. I mean, he was loyal to TS, and I respect Khaled for that.
Yeah, it is what it is.
You don't never gotta fuck with me ever again in life. It's cool, or fuck with 50. I'm quite sure we both care less, and he has his success, and I remember when he didn't, but luckily we didn't have a shootout because somebody could have got killed. Maybe he wouldn't be here, or maybe I wouldn't be here because his man, I'm not going to say his name, had a big gun, and we had a couple of big guns. We never travel light when we go places. Now we do. We good. We chilling. We're out of trouble. But at that point, we wasn't traveling light.
Well,
shout out to K Fox though, because she was scared.
Shout out to K Fox.
It's Tupac's birthday. Motherfuckers was drawing in that shit, and I didn't even want to say what's up to Khaled. Khaled up there like, yo, say what's up. I say what's up. Nelson, shout to Nelson. Yo, say what's up. It's good. It's good. You know, they got radio and Smash. He look at my hand. I'm like, well, fuck you then. Suck my dick, nigga, then what? Whatever. And then his man, I don't want to say no names. He kept it real. He held it down.
Yeah.
He's a real nigga. I don't want to say his name.
I know what you're talking about.
But he's a real one.
Yeah.
But he had that thing on his waist bulging, and we had it too.
Then the next year, 2007 rolls around.
Okay.
Like you'd already mentioned, Violator and Sour Entertainment, Jimmy Henchman's company, are across the street from each other.
Jimmy Henchman always wanted to be Chris Lighty. Everybody knows that. Why would you move on the same block as him? He was on 25th Street. You went on 25th Street. He had the biggest artist. The biggest artist Henchman had was Game.
Yeah.
And he had the nigga from Cali that sound like Biggie. Who else he had? What was that? What was my nigga?
Gorilla Black.
Gorilla Black. And I like the record on Gorilla Black.
Yeah, shout out to Gorilla
But he
Black.
had him. He had a couple of niggas. Chris Lighty had Diddy, Foxy, LL.
Chris Lighty was a monster.
50.
Violator was a monster.
Three-way. The list goes on and on.
Violator had its own
The jealousy
albums.
was always out there for Violator because Violator was, you see what Rock Nation is now?
That was Violator.
You see what 300 now?
100%.
That's what Rock. You had Claudio over there. You had Mo. You had fucking, come on, look what she did with Love of Hip Hop and everything. Come on, you had
that's
Chris.
all Violator.
You had Cruz.
Yep.
You had the Dream Team over there.
So a situation happened with Jimmy's 14-year-old son.
Right.
You got blamed for it, but ultimately they dropped the charges. You got partially blamed for it, but they ended up dropping the charges. Is that correct?
I don't remember no charges getting dropped. I remember getting lawyers.
Okay. But a friend of yours, Lodi Mack.
Yeah, but I don't want to get into much more into that because we got some shit coming soon, and I can't tell you too much because but rest in peace, Lodi Mack. You know the story. Like, I
know the story.
It was street shit.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you know what? if I slap your kid, you gonna go all out too. It's the streets. You know, rules got violated, and it is what it is. But once you shoot my mom's house up, I wish I would have.
Right, because your mom's house got shot up afterwards. Was your mom and your sister in the house?
Nah, my mom's wasn't there. My sister was there.
Your sister
but
was
listen, at the end of the day, when the nigga kid got slapped, right? It's all fair and war. You already know what's gonna go.
Yeah.
You know, for anybody who got kids, I understand how the nigga felt.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, my shit got shot up.
Yeah.
So I didn't, you know, I don't want to get into too much of that, but at the end of the day, if you slap somebody's kids, I expect them to go all the way out, but it is what it is.
Right, and you actually mentioned that situation about your mom's house getting shot up on Straight Outta South Side.
Yeah, definitely.
Off the TOS album.
Right.
Okay, so like I mentioned, the TOS album, that happened in 2000.
You know what's pussy to me? Don't try to sue me and kill me.
Because you got sued afterwards.
Don't try to sue me and kill me.
Yeah. Pick one.
Pick one. We from the streets. It is what it is. I'm riding around in bulletproof trucks, nigga.
Yeah.
Supplied by 50. You think I'm scared of a nigga? I'm moving right. I'm not dumb. I'm move militant.
Yeah.
I don't need to be everywhere.
I could tell you before VladTV, when I used to come by G-Unit offices and interview y'all,
Yeah.
you guys would walk in, you in particular would come into the conference room and you would take off your bulletproof vest.
Yeah,
this was not promo. This was not like trying to Instagram.
Even when Prodigy,
it was very real back then for you guys.
Look, they got a bulletproof truck right now called, I think it's called a Rave Zola or something like that. That's my dream car. I want to get it. It's like about 276. I think it's Rave Zola or something. It's a bulletproof car. It's crazy, right? Truck. Now, even when Prodigy, when I looked at his situation when he had the bulletproof truck, I looked at it like we had the hammer sometimes in him, but I'd be like, I didn't need, hip hop police would pull me over so much and fuck with me that I felt like I didn't need, like hip hop police and the feds was on G-Unit first. I feel like they was created because of us. Damn near, because how hot shit was with us. But like, I felt like I couldn't have the gun on me all the time because hip hop police was on my heels all the time. Like they called me number one on the list. Then after a while, they gave it to like Lil Wayne and other niggas. But I was number one on the list, hip hop police list. So I had a bulletproof truck. I felt like I didn't need to have the gun. Just if I go to a venue or if I pull up in front of a building, I just make sure somebody's there with the bulletproof truck. As long as I can run to that 5 feet, I'm good.
Well, 2008, the second and final G-Unit album comes out, Terminate on Sight.
Yeah.
Rider Part 2
Yeah.
was the biggest song on there.
Definitely.
Great song, by the way.
Definitely. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah.
Yep.
Cali feeling.
And then that same year, Young Buck gets kicked out of G-Unit. And we all found out about it when 50 released the phone call with Buck crying on the phone.
Right.
I mean, apparently what led up to this was Buck's out of control spending habits.
Yeah.
Not paying his taxes. I think you mentioned something like...
I wouldn't say it was all Buck fault because, I mean, you know, we young brothers from the street.
Yeah.
And when you from the street and, you know, you go on tour and you make, you know, $400,000, $300,000, and the money comes in like a couple of 2 months.
Yeah.
And, you know, you got your credit card, you got girls now.
Yeah.
You got the ladies now.
Right. That's where most of the money's going.
Look, you got the ladies now. You know, you got girl over here, girl over here. You paying for this. You're paying for that. You're shopping now. Yeah. You know, I would say Buck was just a spontaneous buyer. Like he'll see a car, buy it.
You said that he would shop at the airport.
Yeah,
that's one of the things I remember you saying. Like he would buy out the airport shops where the price is like 3 times as high.
Buck will buy all the weed. Like say a nigga got 2-3 pounds of weed, he'll buy all the weed so nobody else can smoke. He was just like, yo, this nigga bought all the jars. Like, nigga, save us something. But what I'm saying to you is I feel like, you know, us being young black men from the hood and that money comes so fast, we not thinking about the tax part of it.
Yeah.
So, for instance, you make $400,000. You know, you got a grace period to pay. Say you spend $200,000 out that $400,000, the other $200,000 still there because tax is giving you a grace period to pay that. You might not have to pay that till 2-3 years later. And you don't realize that So tax time come around and you like, damn.
It's piling up.
Oh, these niggas, 125 on 150. I've been spending a lot of money. We ain't been on tour in a minute. You know, and you just live and you learn, man.
Well, at that point, Buck is out of G Unit, and he ends up dropping a diss record with Game.
He did?
I think so.
I didn't even remember that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, it was interesting because I think later on, I think 50 Cent did an interview.
Well, Buck was always, 50 always said Buck is a spontaneous nigga. You never know
Yeah.
what to expect from Buck. Like, you know how I knew Buck was dissing niggas? Through niggas that drove the vehicles. Because I was so cool. Like me, I treat the doorman nice. I treat the man that's driving the vehicle nice. I treat the man that's doing my production, holding the camera, the lighting nice. So my advantage was I always was humble. So one day, my man, he drives. He told me, man, you know, when they come off my house from tour, I say, come in my house, let's get some dinner, or let's eat. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. I don't treat them like shit and say, drive faster, drive slower. And he told me, you know, one of the drivers told me, like, yo, Buck talk about y'all like shit. So Buck was like a spontaneous dude, but you gotta understand, he didn't grow up with us. So I never expected too much loyalty from Buck or Game because, like,
Yeah, they came around later. Yeah.
50 and Banks, I grew up with them.
Yeah.
They from my hood. I didn't really grow up with Buck, so I don't know his morals or how he grew up or his codes, or I just know from what I'm seeing from him. He spend money, he like to party. You know, one thing I give Buck, every city he go to, he tap in with every real nigga. Detroit, that was, to me, that was his talent. Like, he knew to tap in with real niggas. Like, he fuck with Big U, he fuck with my man Littles from Detroit. He was a nigga that lined up with real niggas in every city and every state. I give him that. All the beef shit and all that shit, at the end of the day, man, you leave 50. 50 gonna crush you. 50 don't give a fuck, man. 50, he got no emotions, no nothing. You think I would cry in front of 50? Man. I don't Me? Nah, man. 50 ain't, yo, man, that nigga rule with an iron fist. He's like, you know, so, I mean, for him to be on the phone crying with him, for me, I would have never did that. You know?
Yeah, I mean, you know, when you mentioned how, you know, 50 was close to you and Banks as opposed to Game and Buck. I remember he did an interview, I think after the diss records came out from Young Buck, he said, if Tony Yayo or Lloyd Banks dissed me like Young Buck did, I'd pay someone to shoot him.
Who said that?
50 said that.
Oh, he said that?
Yeah.
Man, you can't. 50's crazy. 50's moody, man.
I think he just meant it like it just hurt a lot more if one of you guys did it.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying? I don't mean he'd really shoot y'all. He just think it just shows how close you guys are.
The same way you see 50 in the rap game, he was like that on the block. Like, we go to the block and I can name names. Say we on the block, it's JoJo, can't do but. Niggas see this nigga Fifth, they gonna be like, oh man, here come this nigga, he gonna start trouble. You know, like, that's just who he is. I'm used to it. In life, bro, let me explain something to you in life, lad. Know your friends for who they are.
Yeah.
You know, I know 50's crazy. I know Banks is laid back. I know Game and Buck are like spontaneous niggas. You don't know what to expect from them or what they gonna say or what's gonna come out their mouth. I don't really know them niggas. Like I said, I didn't grow up with them.
Yeah.
You know, it's cool what we did, but at the end of the day, I didn't grow up with them.
Well, you know, time is passing on. You know, 50 is doing his own thing. You guys are kind of doing your own thing in a way.
Right.
And then in 2014, it seemed like certain things started to go public. Right. Where I think you said 50 Cent isn't rocking with me and Lloyd Banks. And I guess you announced the G Unit had broken up.
Let me tell you something. The whole thing is we always brothers, but now we're famous, so it's more bigger in public. Sometimes you get on Instagram or whatever and you might vent out. But at the end of the day, look, 50 is my brother. Banks is my brother. I grew up with them. I love them to death. Whatever which way, even if I wasn't talking to 50. Like one time I seen Buck on stage with Rick Ross and giving him Dak for New Year's. That's not me, nigga. That's not who I am as a person, nigga. I'm authentic. People don't gotta like me because they always said, everybody ain't gonna like you in life. Wise man once told me that. I don't give a fuck. 50 don't gotta talk to me tomorrow. Banks don't gotta go talk to me tomorrow. You ain't gonna see me with they ops. You ain't gonna see me with this guy. That's not what I do. You know, a nigga could disrespect me and a nigga be in a picture with him chilling and still feel like we friends and want me to support his shit.
Yeah.
Nah, nigga, I'm cut from a different cloth, nigga.
Your loyalty is legendary. Let
Listen,
me
I'm cut from
put
a
that out there.
different cloth.
Yayo's loyalty has never.
And
you
then
don't even see a
look,
chip
and in
in
what
that
this
armor.
industry,
Yeah.
what loyalty mean? That shit don't mean
No,
shit.
it usually means whoever
'Cause
got
we
the
in-
biggest bag. Yeah,
we in
people
the cutthroat
jump
business.
crews, people work with ops,
Exactly.
like all that. Not
And
you.
you know
Not
what?
you.
You gotta feed your kids and you gotta do what you feel is good for you.
Yeah.
A lot of motherfuckers you see out here came from our camp and built with us. You do what you gotta do. I don't give a fuck what you do. Just keep it away from me and stay away from me and I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, I think to me, the most shocking part during that time was that you claimed around that time that you and 50 were no longer friends. You know what I'm saying? Which kind of surprised me,
but
because I know you
probably-
guys are still friends to this day.
But
When you
you know
said it,
what?
it just surprised me.
But you know what? I probably could have been venting out and been on some stupid and in my emotion shit. Sometimes it happened. But I'm a man and I tell you, I'll do that shit.
There you go.
You know, Fifth is crazy. It's hard dealing with a nigga like that, but that's my nigga. We stand in the Waldorf Astoria. We drinking his Lashem. We drinking Branson because he got it up in there. We living the best life. We flew around the world. A lot of motherfuckers and artists don't get treated like that. You know?
Yeah.
We got a tour coming.
No, listen.
You know,
and-
I mean, we get paid good. We got houses. We had cars.
yeah.
We flew the world. We still got cars. And, you know.
Right. Well, because after all this, and there was some back and forth. I mean, he compared you guys to, he said some people, they're like milk, they have an expiration date, and no matter what you do, they'll
Yeah,
spoil
but
after a while.
Fifth will flip on anybody. That's
Yeah.
just how he's
Because-
feeling for the day.
Well, but June of that year, you guys actually reunited at Summer Jam.
Right.
So whatever happened, it all got worked out luckily.
Listen, Fifth
Which
is
was dope.
Fifth. Listen, Fifth is Fifth. He could feel his way some days. I could feel my days. It's just now we're super famous and we're somebody. So it's all over the place. And you know,
Right. Because when I say that you guys took the stage, Young Buck actually came around that time also, came back, and then he took the stage with you guys as well.
Oh, yeah,
along with
yeah.
Kid, you know, who was part of G Unit as well. And it was like, oh shit, like G Unit's like back together. I mean, apart from
Definitely.
Game,
But
like
when you say June, I always look at me, 50 and Banks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the core of it.
The core.
You know, that's the
right. And
so
then
Buck and, you know,
yeah.
because would Buck be in that position if I didn't go to jail? Think about it. You know, and shout to Buck, but Buck was in a good position when I went to jail. And you know what? Me being in jail when Eminem wore the free Yayo, it put me in a good position.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of artists do get glorified when they go to jail. You know, or get bigger, and it's not a good thing or a bad thing. You know, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
Well, because that same year you guys released the Beauty of Independence EP.
Yeah, The Beauty and the Beast. Wasn't it?
And then, well, the Beast's G Unit came out the next year.
Yeah.
So it seemed like you guys were sort of back in the mode, but I feel like these projects did well, but they weren't like Get Rich or Die Trying, caliber, like.
I mean, times change. You
Yeah.
know, every dynasty has what? Maybe a 10-year run, 5-year run. We had like a 10-year run.
Fair enough.
Happy with that. I mean, what we did in hip hop was legendary. You know.
Well, 2018 rolls around after those projects. So 3 years later, 50 claimed that he and Lloyd Banks were no longer on speaking terms.
Right.
And then in June of that year, he said that
Right.
Lloyd Banks is actually not part of G Unit anymore. It's off the group and the label.
Right.
Did that ever get worked out? Or is Lloyd Banks essentially not part of what you guys are doing anymore?
Listen, I don't like to speak on other men like that on these interviews.
Okay.
That's why I don't do them like that. But Banks is my brother. 50's my brother. You know, 50 is here. When G Unit drop, you know, we under the big homie. You know, 50 Show Records, he's in position. Whatever he want to do, that's like niggas, why you ain't in power? Why you ain't it? Listen, power wouldn't be, if you pick your friends to be in power, it wouldn't be what the fuck it was.
Right. Or BMF.
Yeah. If he, I'm gonna throw Yayo on BMF, I'm gonna throw Yayo gonna play
Yayo
Big
gonna be
Meech.
Big Meech.
People don't understand.
Yeah, that's not gonna work.
It's a business.
Right.
Yo, bro, as long as you put food on the table, look, a lot of people ate. Our families ate, the kids ate, wives ate, you know, security ate. Everybody made money. You know what I'm saying? Everything ain't peaches and cream all the time, but we brothers at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? But when you look at a lot of groups, like when you look at Dipset or you look at D Block, dope groups in New York City, but when you look at a nigga that sold 11 million records,
Yeah, well,
and
Diamond.
then you look at G-Unit, it's just like, it's always a kind of big difference because Fifth was no longer even just a rap artist. He was more of an icon. You know, movies with Stallone.
Right.
Books and
And he had his hands in all those projects. Like a lot of those songs popped off because the features and everything. It just is what it is.
Right.
Because he's a superstar. It is, you know what I mean?
He's an icon.
Your biggest song had 50 Cent on it.
But you see the biggest thing about, just like back in the days, like when niggas sold drugs together or niggas did anything together, like one nigga's the main nigga, you might be getting, I'm always the nigga that's just happy with what I got. Yeah. You know, it shouldn't be jealousy amongst a crew. So I was always good. You know, niggas had Jacob watches coming home, condos. You gotta hear the good stuff that a nigga did too, because everybody try to express the bad stuff. And then when you say the good stuff, oh, you dick riding or you over loyal. It's no thing about being over loyal to Eminem, Dr. Dre, 50.
Nah.
It's just,
now, when the G-Unit debut album sells 6 million copies, I mean, it's like, do you really think that album would have sold 6 million copies if 50 had nothing to do with it?
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Dr. Dre.
With Dr. Dre or Eminem.
50, but it was 50's decision to drop Beg for Mercy after that. What I'm telling you is when I got out of jail, instead of getting my head shot the fuck off in South Jamaica and being in the projects or having a nice car being in the projects, I was in Battery Park. That meant more to me than anything because I don't think Jay-Z was doing that for his artists. You know what I mean? He didn't have to. Like, it's different when you have a friendship with a nigga that you in business with. Jay-Z and them niggas, Young Gunners, and that shit was more of a business relationship. Yeah. 50 was pulling up to MTV. He was pulling up to shit to support his artists. You know, so, I mean, like I said, I came home to money. I came home walking out to the Statue of Liberty. So people don't know that story, you know what I'm saying?
One of the things he said that kind of surprised me a little bit, and this was like in 2019, he said, do you realize that G-Unit only did 5 shows together without me in 16 years? That's a huge bag that they didn't get.
You mean 5 shows? Like, what do you mean? Because Banks went on tours.
No, together. Like G-Unit together.
Well, there was always
him.
egos because Banks might get more money than Buck, or Buck think he might want to get the same amount as it was never like that. Or Game was kind of like out the picture, so it was always, but we always went to tours on our own, guitar and everything, but as a whole,
that's what I'm saying.
If it was me, Banks, Buck and Game, we missed out on millions.
That's what I'm saying.
Out of the group, whose fault you think?
Well, but I mean, like, you know, Game was already out of the picture very early on, but
if Game didn't make that move, how much millions did we miss out on?
Tens, if not hundreds. Yeah.
Because we could have made money without 50's brand.
Exactly.
We could have it could have been me, Banks, Buck, and Game.
And then recently, 50 addressed, there was a rumor that he got robbed at your birthday party.
That shit was bullshit, man. I don't even know where these stories come from.
I don't know either.
We had a wonderful night.
Yeah.
Trey Songz came through. Some of the Nets came through, and 50 came through, and it was a movie. The club did wonderful. Shout out to Atlantis. Shout out to my man Strike. Shout out to 50, Trey Songz, and everybody came through.
Well,
I don't know. I felt like that was weird because the club was popping, so I don't know if it was another club that was mad or a club owner, or I don't know. It was just a weird story. And it was weird because it's the first time Shade Room, shout out to Shade Room, they hit me up. And you know, I don't want to I put the gun emojis. I was like, we don't travel light. Even though we don't carry nothing, I just was like, yo, we don't travel light. I just was playing. But it was just weird they hit me up because I want to know who gave him that info. That's how much motherfuckers hate.
Well, I think
still to this day.
I think the coolest part about that story to me was that Yayo and 50 are celebrating a birthday together. Like, how dope is that? Like, after all these years, after all the ups and downs, after the beef and the shootings and the jail time, I mean, it was everything. Like, 50, you guys are still rocking together.
Listen, me and 50 always rock. It's just like a motherfucker think because his day-to-day is not my day-to-day. Like, it's like, yo, people, you still cool at 50? We got a whole tour coming. Oh, let's Banks took to 50. 50's doing movies. He's on his own page. He always been a hustler. And he paved the way for us to be hustlers. now you see me, you know, like at a point, you know, with the COVID and everything and being in the house, I'm outside. I got the cannabis with Steve LaBelle going. I got the music going. I'm doing independently on my own.
Well, let me just stop you for a second.
Yeah.
Is there a reason, considering the success of that first album, was there a reason why there was no official second album? There's been mixtapes and everything.
I got
but there's
advanced by Interscope for the second album,
Uh-huh.
but everything was going on with like Jimmy Iovine. It was just like a whole bunch of shit with Interscope at that point.
Huh.
You know what I'm
Right. Because
saying?
you got
So-
dropped from Interscope, what, 2009, or you left?
I mean, it was just something. It was just a whole bunch of
whatever,
difficult. But they advanced me for the album. I got a nice check.
Right.
It was probably like over $250,000. So
Right. But the album never came out, unfortunately.
Definitely. It
So
didn't come out.
ultimately, that's not a win for you to have an advance.
that was a
like-
win because I made over $250,000. So
right. But you could have made more if it was a hit
I'm
album.
from
though.
the street. Listen, it was a win for me.
Okay, fair
I
enough.
made over $250,000 for an album that didn't come out.
Well, let me tell you, man.
So
To have another album with that type of song, beat picking that you did on that first one, I feel like a lot of people were fucking with.
listen, Vlad, some people never get a championship ring in life. I got one. That's how it feels, just with a gold album just dropping one album. You know what I'm saying? So we got our championship ring. Some people's career will never seen what we seen and been with. I done been in Nelson Mandela jail cell.
Right.
I done fucked with cheaters in Dubai.
Right.
I done fucking been to the red light district, seen it get crazy in Amsterdam.
You hung out with Trump.
I've seen, I knew Trump before
Right.
he was a president. It was
Exactly.
Drug Dealer Wednesdays. So it's like I experienced shit. I've been in the parties with fucking Jim Carrey and Wesley Snipes, feeling like I'm in the movie The Kardashians. That right there, tomorrow's not promised. That's enough in life for me. The money can go, the bitches can go and all that, but the experience, like to be in Nelson Mandela cell, niggas from my hood that never got to do shit. Right now, I'm in the cannabis. We went to jail for cannabis. Now I'm coming out with my shit's called Passport Boys. I got a TV show surrounded by cannabis called Welcome to the Culture. You know, it's about cannabis, food, everything. It's just all around, everything with the culture, music, everything. Like, I'm expanding other brands, learning from 50 and learning from Dre and Jimmy Iovine and just learning. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I'm just happy, bro. I'm at a point where I'm not mad at anybody. I'm glad I survived.
Yeah.
All the shootouts,
Yeah.
the beef. I'm happy to just be here.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, I feel if nothing else, when you look at the definition of loyalty,
Right.
it's like a picture of Tony Yayo, because everyone knows how this industry is. You know, you're always, signing a new artist is the hardest thing in the world.
Right.
And keeping a momentum for a long period of time is even harder.
Right.
And it's so easy to say, okay, it's more advantageous for me to get this money over here, even though I'm not, that may go against the people who put me on.
This the rules for me, right? If you could trust somebody with your woman, your money, or your kids, it's golden. Right? So I lived with 50 in the Poconos.
Okay.
I done been around his first BM by herself. He could trust me. I'm not gonna look at her. Because, somebody might come to your house and you might think he's your friend and you might say, damn, your wife got a fat ass. To me, that's morally wrong.
Yeah.
There's too many women out there to look at your woman.
Right.
You could leave Vlad left 50,000 here. A motherfucker think he might peel 1,000 or 2,000. You could leave your money with me. You could trust me with your kids. Because they don't make people like me no more.
Facts.
They don't.
Facts. You've never
trust me with anything.
You've never
I don't want your
spoken-
main
yeah.
bitch. I don't want your side bitch. Like, I don't care because I feel like even with the women, like, there's so many women out there. Like, even with the money, like, you leave your money leaving somewhere. Can you trust this motherfucker around money? I done seen $1 million cash. I'm not touching none of that shit. That's on you. And I might not have what you have, but it's about what I'm doing and what I'm doing because every man is for themselves.
Yeah, man. Like I said, over all the years, I've never heard you say one bad sentence about 50.
Nah.
At all. I've never seen you associate with
Thanks.
anyone who he doesn't like.
Look, Banks, you never heard me.
Same thing.
Buck went through all that stuff he went through. And, I don't like to talk. I never said anything.
No.
I never stepped on his neck. And even Game, I never, I feel like I don't like to come and talk about the next man. That's the next thing for me. I give you the story and tell you what it is, but I don't. That's why I don't like to do interviews, because I don't like to. I'm not like a clout chaser. I don't like to like talk about the next man too much, bro.
I mean, from your point of view, we don't know what the future holds, but you do know 50.
Right.
Do you think that there's any way in the future to have an actual full G-Unit reunion with the core 3 members and Young Buck and Gang?
I think 50's at a point where he's not that much interest in the music like that. I mean, you know, when you look at all these big artists, all their biggest money been from outside ventures. When you look at Jay-Z or when you look at Rihanna,
Dre,
like, you know, people be like, when is Rihanna album coming? She has Fenty. She's a billionaire. So it's like, or you look at Dr. Dre, or you look at 50 Vitamin Water, or you look at Jay with, with Ace, or Diddy with Ciroc, or 50 got Lashem now, he got Branson now.
Yeah.
Them, you know, them ventures, them outside ventures make you more money.
Well, yeah. And like.
So why go on tour?
Yeah.
I would love to hear Rihanna album. But she has Fenty. My daughter buys, she buys her products. So,
right. And like, to your credit, when you talk about you don't look at other people's money, I think one of the things that happened, when I interviewed Young Buck, we even talked about this, remember when 50 had his vitamin water deal, and then Buck made a comment, like, I didn't get none of that money off the vitamin water.
That's Buck's problem, though. That's,
I never hear you, like, I don't know whether you got any money off that, but I never heard you say anything like that.
No. Listen, I don't watch other people's money.
That's what I'm saying. That's a big deal.
I don't watch other people's money. I'm just happy with what I get. When you watch Scarface, right? Scarface had the big crib. Manolo, even though he got shot in that crib, it was a nice crib, right? I'm good with Manolo crib. Even though he got popped, when they pulled up to that shit, Manolo crib was spanking. It wasn't what Scarface crib was, but Manolo crib was dope.
Yeah, and let me tell you, man, like, you make it sound so easy of like, I don't look at other people's money and I don't get jealous. But you know how often that shit happens. And you know how many friendships fall apart and relationships get fucked up because someone is doing better, especially when you see that person do laps around you.
That's why motherfuckers have more fun in the projects than having fun in the suburbs. That's the fucked up thing. Yeah. Because once you get the money, motherfucking egos come. But we was in the projects.
Everyone's broke. Fun. Doesn't matter. Yeah.
That's the fucked up thing about life.
Yeah.
There's a catch-22 to everything. And I'm going to tell you, you move out the neighborhood so you don't get killed. So I ask myself every time, if Nipsey Hussle was on Rodeo where he got killed, but he supported the hood and gave back, right?
Yeah.
If Freaky Ty, look, I learned early from Freaky Ty. Freaky Ty used to take all the niggas from the block, take them to Jamaica Avenue on a dollar van and buy them sneakers. But he got killed in the hood. You know what I mean? So motherfuckers will give back and the hood will still kill you. Then, look, you move to the suburbs and you got to deal with racial issues now. I'm in an all-white neighborhood. The girl at the Stop and Shop still look at me like I'm stealing. I've been there for 14, 15 years.
Yeah.
It's a catch-22 to everything in life. I just roll with the punches. That's it.
I mean, Boosie calls it hypnotized with hatred.
That's it.
He said that most rappers get killed in their own city because they end up getting, the people who don't make it become so angry and so jealous that they feel the only way to get past that.
It could be a motherfucker from grade school.
Yeah.
You don't even know. And I always watch Bushi when he on your show. Yeah. But it could be a motherfucker from grade school that don't like you.
And that's what it be based on. It be the guys who, once dap you down when you had one song out. But when and they develop envy because they go home. They get out the car with their friend, with their other partner, and he listening to your music. They walk in the house. They girl listening to your music. They go downstairs. The kids doing a dance to your music. Now they are hypnotized with hatred. They are hypnotized with hatred. They didn't go downstairs. They niece ain't even spoke to them when they walk in the house. They just singing Boosie. They niece ain't didn't say, hey, uncle, or nothing. They just singing Boosie. They get back in the car and go to the store with they cousin in the car. They say, oh, that's a car like Boosie. That's a car like Boosie. Okay, they let son get in the car. Dad, I want some chains like Boosie. All right, now you hypnotized with hatred. I'm tired of hearing about him. I'm tired of hearing about this guy. I know what I'm going to do. And that's how it started, man. They get hypnotized. Man.
Look at Young Duff.
Yeah, it's a terrible situation.
He's there for 5 minutes in his old neighborhood to just support the cookie shop, and then he gets shot.
I mean, that's why we always had the bulletproof vehicles, and usually send somebody in the store to go get something. Yeah. We always had somebody there because 50 always told us, never be by yourself, man. Always have somebody with you. There should be somebody drive the vehicle, somebody go in the store. So,
And to this day, you rolled up real deep today.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we got TikTokers, we got a couple of gangsters, gangbangers. We got production here. It's a total,
you got a nice little assortment.
Shout to Killer, shout to Roller, shout to Cuzzo. It's an assortment, man.
Tony Yayo, man, listen, quite a journey. And and you've said this lots of times. You said that you never expected to be even get past your block, much less be all over the world and everything.
Listen. Let me tell you, my bucket list was always Funk Master Flex freestyle, to be on a Clue tape, to be on Hot 97, 105, to be on Don Diva, to be, Source Magazine, to be on Double XL. Those are like my bucket list is kind of checked already in the hip hop game. To meet dudes like Big Daddy Kane, Cool G Rap, I'm still stuck on the old school too. So my bucket list is kind of checked. To go to Amsterdam, Dubai, Paris, London, a lot of stuff was checked. Like Funk Flex was like, freestyle was like, back then, that was like on my bucket list.
Yeah, and it's crazy how all the things you're mentioning are like New York things.
Right.
These are all New York magazines, New York radio stations.
It was all on my
it just shows how, your goals were just, too small, essentially.
Right.
Which is why you surpassed all your goals, ultimately.
But,
you know what I mean?
Back then, a Funk Flex freestyle was like,
that
was like the ultimate thing.
Exactly.
To be on Flex, like at that point. Because you remember,
of course.
Remember when Mace had the Bounce Through LA, Greenback Play, or Clue Tape. You know what I mean? Like it was like the ultimate goal.
Yeah, man. Listen, quite a life, quite a story. I mean, to be involved with one of the biggest movements ever in hip hop, ever. Definitely. That went beyond the music. Let's not talk about G-Unit clothing, and let's not talk about
until this day. And look,
all the ventures and everything else like that.
What it is, the best thing about music, it breaks every barrier. We got Caucasian fans, a lot of Caucasian. Thanks to Eminem, he made us worldwide.
Yeah.
In Interscope, we got our own people, black people. You got Mexicans, you got Jewish. It breaks every barrier. So you go to certain countries, they don't even know how to talk English, but they know hip hop. You go overseas and you'll still see fucking not even Boys the Men or J. Rue the Damager or Cisco or you know what I'm saying? We was on tour with Janet Jackson.
Wow.
You know what that was like for me?
I bet.
To see Janet perform That's the Way Love Goes overseas. I'm like, oh, man. Janet Jackson. You know what I'm saying?
We all had a crush on Janet Jackson at some point. It just is what it is.
So for me to be like, we're on tour with her and I'm seeing her and I'm like, damn, this is like, that's like another bucket list. Janet Jackson? We on tour with her? Come on, bro. It don't get no bigger than that. We got to sign out, man.
That's what it is. Tony Yayo, man. Glad we finally got to do it.
Vlad, I love you, man. VladTV, we here. G-Unit's in the building. It's the Talk of New York, Tony Yayo. I got Welcome to the Culture podcast coming. I got the music coming, the Loyal Mixtape, El Micho, all kind of stuff. I got the passport, cannabis and clothing coming soon. Vlad, don't cut this out. Keep this in here because I need the promo. We out of here.
That's right.